Welcome, everybody, to the Season 1 finale, aka Episode 12, Find of the Day, the weekly Throwdown. Spawned from Audi Club's Find of the Day blog post series. We've created a competition between a panel comprised of car aficionados, myself, George Acorn, that's me, and my co-host, Bill Cho. Yay, Bill.
That's me.
Yay, Bill. We've got our four guests tonight, so that's our most guest-packed episode ever, providing the fourth shows up. Tonight's panelists are, we'll start with Tom, since he's not here, Tom Saltino, founder of Audi Club Georgia, so OG Audi Club guy, and in Georgia, and former president for 8 years of that chapter. You will know, sorry, I'm not very good at reading tonight. You will see some interesting vehicles behind him when he shows up, because I think he's going to be broadcasting from his garage, and he also started the premier Audi Club event known as Quattro di Mayo. So he is numero uno at Quattro di Mayo. That's kind of a big deal because that's an awesome event. Next up, Ted Dannemiller, one of the Dannemiller brothers who are famous and infamous from our board of directors, former board of directors, or former board members now, but we love them. The Audi Club Georgia member, and former, we already went. I need to stop ad-libbing, Bill, because you already covered this in the script.
Thank you.
Right? Basically, Ted and his brother Bud.
To the script.
Aforementioned brother Bud. Now I'm kind of winging it sort of in your script. Aforementioned brother Bud founded TTOA, or Tourist Trophy of America, which is a rally to the Audi Club Nationals. Gotta stop ad-libbing. The members will drive anywhere. The Audi Club event, for the Audi Club National event, is held including across the country. This is our last show and probably the worst reading ever of this. I'm really sorry about that.
Not be the issue.
Ted traded his, the problem is clear to me. Ted traded his M1A1 tank for a TTRS and disputes the fact that Tom created Quattro di Mayo, but Tom has evidence, so apparently Ted's wrong. Aaron Plante.
I don't dispute Tom.
Oh, okay.
Dispute Tom. All right.
I just know he wasn't there when the 8 of us were there.
Then that's the problem with the script. I knew there was a problem. Anyway, next up, Aaron Plante. Welcome, Aaron, from Audi Club Lone Star. He's our second former Audi Club National Board OG. He's also the author of The Rear Spoiler, the sardonic final flow of our of air for Quattro magazine. Boy, if I could have read that, it would have been horrible.
Should have gone with snarky.
I screwed it up, and it was worse than horrible.
Yeah, you should have stayed with snarky.
I should have said, well, he told me to go with sardonic.
You can spell snarky.
It's the last time I listened to him.
I hear Disney is looking for some writers for their new Star Wars movies.
Yeah. And finally, Tim Enders, return guest. Tim's also a frequent writer for Quattro magazine and has helped us out at Audi Club events, so you may recognize him from there. You can find him either riding his Ducati or playing his guitar, singing about punching Russell Crowe, or maybe writing about, or maybe
one of my friends did.
That's a Bill Cho line. I'm going to add one of my own and ad lib again. He might write a ballad about Alan McNish. It's possible one of these days. If there ever is one, Tim's probably involved. And we love him for it. Our categories tonight are TT, no limits, no import laws. You can pull it from wherever. So go nuts. This is the final episode, no rules. And next up, RS car. Again, any RS car, no limits, no import laws. And last, an Avant, some sort of a long roof. And guess what? No limits, no import laws, guys. Can you believe it?
We're going crazy on the last show.
It could happen again next season, too. You can't stop us. You can't stop us. It's just that nuts. We are broadcasting real time on Facebook. Could you tell all these screw ups? I'm going to edit them out for YouTube, so you won't even get to see them. So we invite viewers to weigh in on the competition via the comments below. The winner of our panel vote will enjoy bragging rights for 7 whole days or however long it takes us to start the next season as distinguished find of the day master. Tonight's episode is brought to you by the letter T, as we have Tom, not here yet, Ted, Tim, Taryn,
Aaron Plante.
I am a verb.
Plante, and of course the TT category. Did I mention there were no limits on that? You could import it. It doesn't matter. Did I mention that yet? No. All right. One last thing. This program is brought to you by Audi Club North America. Audi Club has been a supporter and a driver of the Audi enthusiast community for decades, with events ranging from driving schools to social gatherings all across the country and Canada. It also publishes Quattro magazine for enthusiasts 4 times a year. If you consider yourself an Audi aficionado, then join the club. Seriously, head over to AudiClubNA.org and click on the Join tab. We'd love to have you be part of it, and maybe you come on here and watch us screw up in person or at least on Zoom. And with that, let's get started.
Let's get started.
I think we're going to start with TT. Was that I moved to the order because Aaron is going to have to leave early. Hopefully Tom will have joined by the time Aaron leaves, at least, so we'll have a full panel. But shall we start with TT? Does anybody, I don't even know what order people showed up. I think Aaron showed up first, didn't he?
Tim did.
Tim did.
To
Okay.
the call, Tim showed up first.
So Tim, you want to lead with the TT?
Yes, as soon as I was trying to bring up the right browser window and I managed to tab myself off of Zoom. Yes, so I will bring up my TT.
Please do.
You too? Steve.
Uh-oh. So what we have here is a Mark 1 TT Quattro Sport. This was also called the Club Sport Quattro, depending on what country you were in when you were buying it. These were a Europe-only model of the Mark 1 TT, and these were actually the fastest Mark 1 TT, even faster than the VR ones. These are a 1.8T, but what they did with them is they had no air conditioning, no rear seats, and they moved the battery from the engine compartment to the back of the car to maintain weight balance. They were, targeted at a sort of track day sport driving audience. I found this one, it's only got 35,000 kilometers on it, and it looks like it's in pretty beautiful shape. Red was never my favorite color for the Mark 1 TT, but I mean, I don't think you can argue with this car. Like, it's even still got some of the original warning stickers on the dashboard that the owner never took off of it. The seats in these were Recaro buckets, and the backs of them were body color matched, just like that. They came with, you can see there's a harness bar, like strut tower bracing in the back there. Those came stock with this car also, because it was, like I said, it was kind of a track focused version of the Mark 1. And, the Mark 1 TT for me was just, I was, out of college and starting my professional life when they came out, and I wanted one quite badly at the time, and this was the king of the Mark 1 TTs. And, we were never able to get them here, and I remember drooling all over them back when I used to help with the forums on Fortitude and VW Vortex, and if I had the opportunity to import one and, the spare cash sitting around, that would certainly be the one.
Never lose.
It's not all that uncommon to find these for sale if you look around. I think they only made like 800 of them for the UK market, but they made more than that for mainland Europe, if I recall correctly. So they're not like incredibly rare, but ones this nice and like with that low mileage on them are pretty special, I think.
I mean, legit. So I'll admit, I don't think I entered this one last week, but I kind of quasi showed it. But so it hasn't technically been our competition.
This is what I get for skipping an episode of the show.
Right? You should watch more is all I'm saying. But no, also worth noting, I love that you knew that about I had no idea about the battery being in the back for weight. That's awesome. So the 3.2 chin on a 1.8T is kind of unique to this. We covered that last week. The other thing on this, those pole positions were an option, as was, I think, the Alcantara in there and the rear seat delete. I think those were all options, but pole positions are
rear seat delete was in all the Club Sports.
Was it?
Yeah, that's why they put the battery in back, because taking the seats and everything out screwed the balance of the car up.
Yeah, and the pole positions, by the way, are so they're pretty common at Porsche in period, right? Like in the 90s. I don't think in the 2000s, once you move to like 996s and stuff, they don't have them. But like 964, 993 area pole positions were like the legit, like the really high ends, like RSs and Club Sports and stuff had them. The other thing about these at Audi is if you have like, have you ever seen that RS4 Sport, like the B5 RS4 Sport? They're like, I think they showed one at SN and they might have sold like, I don't know, very few of them, but like it was like an option in that too. And so like these, you can kind of find these pole positions around when one of these cars cracks up, but this one is like stellarly clean, although it's also 38,900 euros. So for a Mark 1 TT.
You know, what's funny, just reflecting on its mileages, I have more track miles than that car has total.
No joke.
TTRs.
Guess whose TT I'm not buying, Ted? Yours.
It's well taken care of. You know, Tim, did you say this was not air conditioned? Because I have this also as one of my selections for the night. And one of the things that I noticed was that it identified it had AC, and they show a picture of the ACU control package there in the center console. And I thought it was actually on at the time. I can see some.
So these, I don't know if maybe it was a special order. I know, like stock or whatever, they did not have air conditioning.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you could add it as an option or not. But that's a question.
A lot of us with Markman tried to replicate this. I got a 3.2 nose, but I wound up putting cup wings on my 3.1 nose and some other grills. But these were extraordinarily attractive. And then there was a couple of guys. One Hans Zissler, was another guy in the early TT East community that had a set of pole positions in one of his cars at that time, and they were ungodly and expensive.
Yep, and pole positions are awesome seats for this. I wouldn't want them in a daily driver for sure.
Yeah.
Like for this kind of thing, they're fantastic.
Mhm.
But I'm just gonna lay this out there too. I was at SEMA last time, and I walked past her car. I was like, "Oh my god, pole positions!" Right? I totally want those for whatever car I could put them in. I got to go sit in them, and they had like not just like the regular pole positions, which these are, but pole positions for fat guys. Or when I say fat guys, I mean not Germans or Italians. And I couldn't even fit in the fat guy one. Like it was crazy, but they look so cool. I think I would constantly convince myself getting in and out of it that I fit and get it anyway because they're that cool.
You mean low center of gravity challenged, right? This is a.
Yeah.
So that's my entry for the TT market.
George, did you get a screenshot of this?
I did, yes.
Okay.
All
right. Nice choice there, Tim. I didn't realize that we had to do a lot of research on ours. I just chose mine because I like the color.
That's legit. I don't.
All right, who's up next?
I think Aaron is.
I'll go. Yeah, I guess it's funny. It's funny you say that, Bill.
Oh,
Is that a wrap or is that like?
Well, let's talk about this. So at first, it just looks like a regular old TT 2.0 Roadster. Yeah, with what you would guess would have to be a purple wrap. But if we
Is that matte purple too?
yeah, it looks like it.
look at some of these photos here, I have to move you guys out of the way. Yeah, it's looking like a TT. But we have this, you see this little, we get this little text thing here. So let's do some zoom and enhance here. And it says
Sanctuary?
Interesting.
What does it say?
It says sanctuary.
Sanctuary, yeah. So I dug a little deeper, noticing some different color cues. So we can see here we've got, it seems like it's more intense yellow than normal. Got our orange side markers, of course. Plenty of red we're seeing in the taillights. That's pretty normal, I think, as far as cars go. Got purple everywhere, but we've got this little nub in here. So just keep these things in mind. We're gonna get to this later. I'm working us to something here. This is not the TT you think it is. I mean, I think it's quite frankly, it's out of this world. A couple more pictures. Again, I'm just look at that intensity. It could be camera angle or Photoshop, but just seems pretty yellow to me. So take an interior shot. It's another zoom and enhance here, and you see we've got just this little green light here to say that the light system's on. Okay. Here you go, George. Here's your answer.
Jim, yeah.
But
great.
It could just be that the tub's painted a different color. It could be a really unique Audi. Got a little blue here in the rear selector, right? So again, pretty standard for most of these, and we have this strange red hue coming from the glove box. I don't know why they decided to take a picture of it. So it must mean something, as far as I can tell. Got door panels, the regular look, seems in pretty good shape.
Dipstick. It's got a dipstick.
Dipstick,
Wow.
Right. Everything's looking good. And then, You've got, the K&N filter, right? Oh. Hold on.
Straight from Dior.
You're not the only one to screw something up. All right, here we go. Ready?
Oh my God.
Okay. Do I need to share again? Yeah, here we go.
I think
All right. Now here's the weird thing. Just pretend that didn't happen. Here's the weird thing. You can see here we've got Titan in the label instead of just hungry. So I did some research, and it turns out that Titan is actually a planet and the province of Hungary. And we think about that sanctuary, right? What does that mean? And we look at the colors that we have in the format, and I mean, I'm pretty sure that this is none other than the Mad Titan's vehicle himself. And now I can't get my friend to. Yeah, I worked so hard on.
Was that a Bill Thanos? It kind of looked like a Bill Thanos.
Thanos. Yeah, I vilified Thanos. It cost about 10 grand to do that.
He's one of the greatest villains ever.
That's right.
Oh.
So that's my.
Oh my God.
That's my TT. I'm gonna bring up Bill just because it's worth it.
Think of it this way, Bill. You don't have to do a Photoshop for tomorrow. You can use.
I know. I could just photocopy that. Oh my God, that was awesome. I'm gonna
bring him to the front, so you get the full.
Can you share it back on? I love that you have the Iron Man poster in the background too.
Aaron, that's impressive. I gotta say.
Hold on, we'll get this.
He hits me today, and he's like, "This is dedication, by the way, guys. Aaron's got a birthday party for his kid later this evening, so he's making time for us." And he hits me later today, and he's like, "Hey, do you guys still need me for the show?" And I go, "No, we're good. You know, I think we have 3, so don't worry about it." And he goes, "No, I did some homework for the show." Like I definitely want to do TT. And I was like, "Man, I'm looking for this rad TT that he found." And then he shows this, this wrapped, this wrapped Roadster. I'm like, "Wow, for that you're showing up to."
Well, it's not from this world. I mean, it's pretty special, I think. You know, and
it's kind of like warping of reality. Like if you had some jewel knuckles and could warp reality, you would be. That is
this. I'm going to say that
pretty great Photoshop work.
Yeah, Aaron's got Aaron one. I'm sorry.
That's PowerPoint stuff. That's quick. So here, that's all I got.
That is. Oh my God! Now it just like Tim does all this research.
What an amazing.
Well, that's just because I'm a nerd.
Bill, like this is. I have to say, this is worthy of a season finale.
It's worthy of a season finale.
Pulling out the stops.
So Ted, what you got?
Well, what's funny is I went to the same place that Tim did, and I originally started with the same red TT that he had with the seats in it and the 3.2 nose and the redistribution of the weight, etc. But I also did a little sort of digging around and recall that I met somebody that was really fun. And I'll show that now by going to the share screen. And let's see if it comes up because it's showing black right now. Everybody see it?
Yep.
This is an NSU Prinz, which is the first one to carry the moniker of TT. And of course, NSU is one of the corporations that folds into what becomes Audi along with Auto Union, Wanderer, et cetera. And I actually know Per, and I know that George, you said you saw him out in California.
Is it Per or Per? I don't know. I've never spoken to him. I just have read his name. PER.
I recall Per.
Okay.
But we met several times at Road Atlanta, and I said, "Oh, I'm the guy with the blue TT down there," and we had that discussion here. But this is really fun. If you can look at it, there's not really many pictures in this set. But if you'll notice, everybody seeing the screen?
Yes.
Okay. So it's rear engined, which is rather neat, with these interesting scoops along the sides so that it gets plenty of fresh, cool air into the system. Another view of the same car here. Down on the ground, you can see that rather interesting boxy exhaust on it. It has a wrap like a GTR almost, considering that the NSU Prinz motor is a little tiny thing. And then again, back on the ground here, the car runs in the 130s at Road Atlanta. And that's about 10 seconds faster than a 3,300 pound TTRS running on a pretty good set of R compound tires.
No joke.
So there's but he also goes out and whips Miatas all day long. And Miatas are a bit quicker, I'll call it. They're momentum cars. They'll carry 85, 90 miles an hour through T1. And I've seen him pass people at turn 1.
That's
It's
great.
pretty crazy at Road Atlanta. So I selected this one as my start off show for the night. It's probably the only one racing in the United States. Per asserted that he did not know anybody else that was racing one any longer. And he imported a number of the parts from Europe to get it here. And I think it's just a great example of the ethos of the brand in taking a street car and doing as much as you can possibly do into it, but rather tastefully. If you notice, yeah, it's obviously a race car, but all buttoned up. It's a pretty clean looking piece of work when you see it sitting in the paddock. And when it goes running down the straight, he runs out of gear right at about 3/4 of the way down on the front straight at Road Atlanta, but he carries most of that speed up the hill into turn 2. It's just pretty crazy to watch that car run. So
If you want to know more about that car, if you're a member of the club and you have this summer's issue of the magazine, of Quattro magazine, page 62 to 63, Per actually wrote a story about his own car. We'll be running that on the website sometime soon with more photos because we have a lot more than we could run in the 2-page layout. But that's timely. I don't think it's for sale, but I'll drop a link where you can find some others for sale when it's my turn in the round.
So Ted, what kind of, did you mention what kind of engine it had in it?
So it has a very small 1.1 liter engine in it, which later evolves into a 1200 on the TT and TTS models. And you can hear let me look at my notes here. Yeah, you can hear the carry forward of the nomenclature, which I found fascinating. They made stock somewhere around 70 horsepower, I think it was originally. It's really remarkable. The largest motor they finally built was actually 1177. Yeah, 1177, and carbureted. And I haven't asked him what mods he made to that, so maybe it's in the article. I was more about just admiring the clean work. I mean, you can eat off of anywhere in this car. The floor, the engine bay, the front boot, it's all remarkable.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. You know what's interesting about these cars too? Like obviously it's the where the TT and TTS come from for sure. I always thought it was interesting with these cars though that era of Audi or Audi Union, I think this is maybe even NSU pre-joining Audi Union, I'm not sure. But their design of that era, like remember, like there's like the Audi Union 1000 that basically looks like a knocked off T-Bird.
Yeah.
To me, this always looked like a bit of a knocked off mini Corvair, but with way better proportions. But could just be me. I don't know.
Except that the original Prinz was a 50s vintage vehicle. And I've always thought, having seen one and then gone and looked at the early Corvairs, that Chevrolet got the idea from NSU.
So depending on the timing, you could be right.
Yeah. It'd be really interesting to see who was at which Frankfurt Auto Show in 19 whatever and decided that's the car I want to make in wherever. So the other odd, interesting little fact is that the motor out of the Prinz was adapted to a motorcycle. It was adapted to a motorcycle. It was in the 60s, and they were hand built, and it was the fastest and most expensive motorcycle then currently in production. The company's name was Munch, and the name of the The name of the motorcycle was the Mammoth. And
Interesting.
I might have I have a picture here. I couldn't find any really good information, but let me go back and share one last moment here. And give me an audible when you see that come up. I hit the share button. Here we go.
That's
Oh,
cool.
man.
It looks like they even used the headlight bezel.
Yeah,
And-
exactly.
Yeah, they use
That's
the bezel
rad.
and everything. So I'm pretty impressed with the adaptability of that particular engine, and you know, step forward 50 years, and we've got the 1.8T engine being used in the KTR right now.
Yeah.
I know of a Porsche racing company that builds 924s and 944s that have all been fitted with the 1.8T motor, and they're bulletproof compared to the original Porsche motors, is their assertion. They're right here, based right here in Atlanta. So kind of a neat path through history. The name and the ethos of the car, the TTS, carries on into the modern naming. The engine goes into different places and stuff like that. And just a nice historical touch point for me tonight. Thank you.
That's cool. Thanks, Ted.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So, Bill, am I going first or you?
Oh, why don't you go ahead? Because mine's actually boring, but I love it. And it's something I would buy if I could.
All right. So I'm going to start by, I had a site open here that I was scrambling. When Ted threw out the TT idea, I don't want to copy him, so I won't. But he gave me that in the pre-show when he showed that. I was like, oh, man, NSU TT. I totally didn't even think of that. Totally should have. So I pulled up my link just in case. If you saw Per's car, which is not for sale, but you are interested, this is a website I know of in Europe. Use a guy like Jamie Orr who can import this stuff. As you can see, the prices range, right? This one's like 33,000 euros, but this one for 13,000 euros is, I have to say,
Well,
pretty sublime.
It's almost Imola.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
I
I
don't
think we featured that on a Find of the Day, not on the show.
Not on this show.
Yeah, on the
I don't-
blog.
If those are Fiat wheels, I'm not sure, but like it's already caged, got a single Recaro. That's a whole lot of fun. You could probably have that thing landed in the United States for not a whole lot more than $15,000, and you could be racing Per at Road Atlanta. Is all I'm saying. Or
That
should
would
you?
be an interesting thing to do, and sort of do the George thing and watch it come across on the boat. I'll have to check.
Did you guys see that?
Officer.
It opened the. Did you guys see me going through pictures? I don't know if that shared or not.
Yeah.
Okay, let me do that again, just so you guys can see it a little closer. Again, this is rezocar.com. You know, a guy like Jamie Orr could probably make contact if you can and can work on getting it shipped. These usually don't come up for sale in the U.S. There are some in the U.S. I think Per is the only one importing or racing them rather, but there's several that have been imported to the U.S. But they're not. It's not that they're common in Germany. They're certainly not, but they're compared to here they are. Just some cool tech right there. I don't know what this one needs offhand, but it's already caged and it's already got a racing bucket. And
Oh, that means I can't drive it.
Wow.
right, but
You know
so
what's interesting? It doesn't have a second bucket. You'd have to put the second seat in it to drive it in most of the events in the States if you
would
were a
you?
passenger.
Or you could just go for one of these other more expensive ones because he doesn't like rally light.
Yeah.
Mind rally lights. But so I'm not going to rip off your idea for NSU TT. I just wanted to show those before I moved on to mine. What I have is also Mark 1. It's in Germany. It's only 4,600 euros, but it is Audi exclusive jet blue. If you remember when they launched the R8, there was this metallic light blue. Bill, we had an S5 in that color when we were at Fortitude. Everybody loved it.
Someone who had a matching hat.
That's what I was going to bring up.
I mean, you don't have to dwell on my super style. I mean, I do have really great style. Thanks for mentioning that. But but yeah, and also pretty sure this tan, well, after facelift, it may have been a stock color. I don't know on the interior. I seem to remember that some of the Goodwood cars may have had something similar, but jet blue, really rare, kind of, I don't know if it's one of one, but since we're not, we'll go right past that aftermarket stereo. You didn't see it. But just a really nice car and in great shape for a Mark 1. you don't see a lot of exclusive Mark 1 TTs because they weren't doing a lot of exclusive paint back then. So vote for it.
Didn't Tim's TT have the same phone holder?
It might have.
I think it did.
It
Yeah.
did. I think it looked identical.
Which it cracked me up because that car was totally a track day special when somebody
Yeah,
put it on that.
right.
Like that. Yeah,
Right.
whatever.
Hey, you gotta day trade all at all times.
And no cup holders.
And no,
Well, they had those. Didn't the Mark 1s have those, like, it was almost like an add-on to the center console. It was like kind of wired.
They were aftermarket.
Yep. Stratosphere. used to-
Entirely aftermarket.
I swear to God, they had them in the there. Maybe a different one was aftermarket, but the press cars back in the day had this cup holder that was like on top of the center console. I don't think the German cars had them. I think it was just US, but it had like these rubber flaps that would like hold the drink in place, and it was all like the satin silver to match the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it had the little dimples around the perimeter, right?
No.
The ones that I recall seeing had the dimples that sort of mimicked the bezels for the air conditioning.
There was a cottage industry of like in the day of Mark 1 TT, and there was like TT East and TT West and a huge following for these cars. And I remember like there were like three different online retailers that did nothing but TT specific parts.
Yeah.
That they all designed different. So I know there were different cup holder designs, but I think there was one from the factory too.
One of my major car regrets in my life to this day is that it would have been in like maybe early 2000 or late 1999. It would have been 2000 or 2001. I found a Mark 1 225 Roadster for sale at my local dealership that was used. And I stopped and looked at it and kind of passed it over. And like somebody had thrown like the entire Stratosphere catalog at this car. All the stuff, right? And I passed on it because I wasn't sure if I could swing, what it would cost me to do it. And I found out later that our friends at New German Performance it was an APR Stage 3, like full build, balls to the wall car. And if I'd known that, and I'd known that Dave Graff and his guys had built it, I totally would have picked it up. But like, it had the BBS CHs on it, like it had everything you could want.
Really nice. Yeah, it's too bad. You gotta hate the ones that get away. All right, Bill, what you got?
All right, let me find my share screen. Oh, Tom just texted me. He thought it started at 8.
And he's still
He thought it started at 8 instead of 7. Okay, so
tell him feel free to join. I mean,
I don't know how this came onto the
was that a
screen.
JetBlue S5?
Oh, I just this is not the car I was going to choose, but
with the blue hat, no less. Thanks for.
Look at that.
I just pardon me. Okay, so I will show you what I have. Okay, so I had a model of this when I used to work in an office, like with a tie and stuff like that. I had it sitting on my desk for the longest time. Always loved the color of it. We didn't get it here in the States, but it is my favorite generation. It's my favorite TT, and it would be this. Sea Paint Blue TTRS Roadster.
What blue is this?
It's
Sepang Blue.
Yep.
Oh, it is Sepang? Okay. I have a little color shift, so I have this difficulty on some screenshots seeing the difference between Sepang and Scuba. Yeah, that's pretty.
No, it is pretty. Like I said, I had this on my desk when I used to work in a bank, and slowly over the years, I don't know why. I guess because other people coming in and liking it, picking it up. It lost its mirrors, it's lost its spoiler, but it's, to me, this is beautiful. My favorite generation and my favorite TT of all time is a Mark II TTRS, like yours, Ted. So,
But a Roadster.
But not obviously we did get the Roadsters here, but I've always loved these, and with my glorious COVID hair now, I could already feel the wind blowing through my hair with this. But if
I were really looking to spend a bucket of money on a track car, I'd go find me a TT RS convertible someplace.
Yeah.
Because I always liked the Roadster as a track car, but of course the difficulty is in most sanctioning organizations, you got to have a cage in them at all times. And it makes sense to do so.
Right.
I just didn't have the budget to go do that when I bought my first TT, my Mark I. And I had actually tested. Audi was the sponsoring mark in like 2001, I think it was, at Road Atlanta, and the whole top of the vendor hill was covered in Audis, and college kids were the models next to the cars, and this young woman got me into a green one with a roof, and I about died just sitting there going, oh, I wish I could make this into a track car. A Mark II would make a wonderful track car.
Wouldn't it? I mean, look at this, and it's got the proper amount of pedals on it,
Yep.
right? I just wanted to point that out, you know.
Right.
Although it's got leather seats, that'd be slippery.
It would be a little slippery, right?
Easily fixable.
It's Bose. Yeah, that's right. These are Bose.
Hey, really quick, just amongst us friends, because nobody else will know, right? I had an email today from a friend who knows of a 60,000 mile silver on black Mark I TT that's available at a reasonable price. In case any of you want it, let me know.
Ooh.
So, I mean, that's really
Totally stock, by the way. Totally stock.
It's really why I chose that particular car, because it was the exact model that I had.
Yeah.
Sea Pang Blue is one of my favorite colors. I mean, it's aside from Nagaro, but Sea Pang is just beautiful. So that was my choice. I judge books by its colors, by its covers, and apparently TTRS is by its colors. So our other guest, Tom, just texted me. He said he's going to be joining us shortly.
All right. Well, shall we vote on round one while we're keep this on pace? I don't know, Aaron. You're probably gonna have to leave in another 10 minutes anyway, aren't you?
Yeah, it's perfect. We can swap right out.
Okay.
For voting.
Awesome.
All right.
I mean, you know.
So I'm gonna
Like I
share.
said, it's all part of the plan.
So first off, we have the red TT Quattro Sport. Anybody? I'm gonna vote for that one because
I am going to vote for that one.
all right. So you guys are gonna have to. Next up, purple TT Roadster.
We'll vote for that one.
Next up, actually, I forgot I might want to vote for this. But next up is
I'll vote for this guy.
the major super villain Thanos.
I've never looked better. Thank
Can we
you,
vote?
Aaron.
Can we vote for a super villain? If we can, then I want to rescind my vote for the red car.
Well, they wouldn't let you vote for the House though. So
Yeah. Thank you for bringing that up.
Well, I have a constant objection to not being able to vote on that house anyway, so I have no issue with voting for a super villain. Are we voting for a super villain?
I think it goes with the TT.
Yeah, it goes with the TT.
Yeah, it goes with the TT.
I don't like the TT though. The TT is kind of lame, but I love the
You
Photoshop.
can have your cake and eat it too.
All right, then I'm going for the red one. All right, next up is PERS NSU.
Yeah, I'm
I
going
vote for that. You can vote for your own cars too, by the way. So I'm voting.
So we got 2 votes for the NSU, 3 votes.
Yep.
It looks like PERS NSU that's not even for sale wins.
Like I say, we play fast and loose with the rules here. So
Anything can happen, guys. It's the season finale. You just don't know.
If he
And
puts
we
the
may
tire
end
back
this.
on, it'll be for sale.
We may end this. You may think the main characters are dead, like Bill and me at the end. We could be dead. You don't know. And then you will come back next season. We could be live.
okay, since I don't follow superhero stuff, I have no idea what you're talking about. But I'm assuming it had to do with my villain.
Next time you're on, Aaron, I want you to Photoshop him as Wonder Woman.
Oh,
wow.
Yes, I might have to take a
He likes
screenshot of that.
He likes Wonder Woman.
We're going to do Invisible
If you're not
House.
gonna be really nice, you can have this one, okay? It's a
Spoiler's still on it too.
Yes, and mirrors, you know.
Who
So
knew? Who knew? All right. So what's our next round? Are we doing Avant or RS next?
I don't know. You screwed up my category list, so.
Well, look, Aaron had an hour, man, and I knew we were going to be like just chatty and BSing our way through the first 60 minutes. So like I figured let's
go
start
back.
with TT. Darren, do you have another pick? Would you like to lead the next round before you have to bolt?
I probably should just bolt because
All right.
I like being married and I like my kids. The way everything is
Man
right
of
now.
priorities.
So,
But that's
Yeah.
fine because Tom will be joining us in just.
yeah, he could
in just a
swap
second.
out just. We'll let Tim handle the round 2 start again, and then I'll be here in spirit.
Thank you
Okay.
very much, Aaron. Say happy birthday to your kids.
Yeah,
I
happy
will.
birthday to your kid.
Good to
Yeah,
see you.
we'll do
Aaron,
this for
good
an
to see
Audi pick.
happy
first
birthday,
of all.
Aaron, to the youngsters. Good to see you again.
Thank you, sir. All right, guys, take care.
right, so
Bye-bye.
Tim, since you're out of the gate, do you want to do long roof or RS?
Let's do RS car.
All right, RS it is.
Jeez, Aaron.
I'm going to go grab my phone really quick. I'll be right at the screen, okay?
All righty.
So should I
Yeah, go ahead and share your screen.
take it away here? All right, so if I get the right window shared up here. This could have gone in either the long roof category or
I think there's going to be a lot of that.
Yeah, there's a lot of that. Wait. So which category are we actually doing now?
This is RS.
All right, okay.
And I'm crossing my fingers that I don't do another one where you guys like had this car on last week or something. But I looked around, and of all of them that I found,
Oh,
This-
Oh my!
I like this one.
Oh, is
Okay.
that like a British racing green?
this is so obviously it's an RS3 Sportback, right?
Yeah.
And I chose, out of all the RS cars that are out there, I chose this one for a bunch of reasons. Reason number one, it's the perfect size RS car for me. I had a B5 back in the day. It was a fantastic size car. I loved it. We all know these are almost exactly the same size. It's kind of a just right. Not too big, not too small. Since it's a Sportback, it has the extra utility that we don't get with a sedan. It's got a 5-cylinder. It's the right number of cylinders for a cool Audi, et cetera, et cetera. And this one is full-blown opt all the things.
Opt all the things.
Yes. So if I flip through and this is not, I don't think it left the factory this color.
I think that's sitting in their showroom in Kempton. That's what
It
that
is.
looks like. Yeah.
It is. They repainted it, or they had it repainted.
Okay.
But it's got the full opt all the things. So it's like 500 horsepower. You can see it's got their body kit with the fender vents, their wheels. Yeah, these are.
Oh, wow. Very pretty.
That's
it's
really
got
nice.
the exhaust. Somewhere in here are interior pictures. Here we go. It's got an opt start stop button, gear shift lever, carbon around the seats,
All the things also.
carbon fiber, all the things. I think it is a really, really cool, really, really fast car that's built really, really well, because Opt doesn't screw around when they do full house builds like this. So that is my pick. If you handed me the cash to go buy any RS car that was for sale right now, that's the one for me.
That's a pretty solid pick, Tim.
Yes, Tim. Hey, Tim, if you wouldn't mind just sending me that link, because I'm going to feature as a finding today.
Yeah,
also.
totally. And like I said, it's a really cool color. I don't know if our friend Anthony that works for Audi of America has gotten to me or not, but I'm all about the green stuff lately, and I think it's a gorgeous color for a really nice car.
For sure. Hey, Tom. Great to see you.
Yeah, sorry to join late. I got mixed up tonight.
No
worries.
No problem.
No worries.
Hey, Tom.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, good to see you
Long
guys.
time no see.
I know, right? Been ages.
So,
Been
So
vintage
it's-
the races, I think.
It's a great flex, too. I'm really liking that 24 Hours of Le Mans Polo. That's pretty cool.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
but not that we're going to ignore you, Tom. But could you move to your right?
Yeah,
just
is
a
that an
bit?
RS2 behind you? I
No,
gotta.
there's no such thing here.
But
Yes.
the 24 Hours of Le Mans Polo was a
Yeah.
flex. Then there's the RS2.
Yeah.
Welcome to the season finale. That's
Yeah,
amazing.
the RS2 and of course my old standby, my old girlfriend.
Ah, very nice.
Does it look like this
94.
one?
Pardon?
Does it look like this one, I wonder? Oh, never mind.
Here, I can.
I'll get back to you on my turn. Go ahead.
What Tom?
So, Tom, we just finished the first category of TTs, and now we're on the RS cars.
Yep.
So this car was my entry for an RS car. It's a full house opt RS3 Sportback.
So Tim is
I
the
love
first to go. Should we, Tom, you need a little more time? Have Ted go next, or would you like to jump
No,
in?
let's see if I can share something for you guys. Give me 2 seconds.
We just want what's behind you. That's all.
Yeah, are you gonna bring that? You gotta bring that RS2 out to some event where I'm at soon, because it's pretty rad.
It was at the national event a couple years ago at AMP.
Okay.
So while he's doing that, Tom, does this look familiar?
Oh, that's the one that was up at AMP for
Yes.
Nationals.
Yeah.
That's
That your
yours?
was that your S2 and your Quattro next to it too? I remember that.
Yeah,
Like
I
walking down,
wish. No, the S2 was John Caceres, who's a good friend of mine.
Very
And you've
cool.
got the
That's
Quattro,
Don
which-
Becerra's work, which is pictures I had for the start of my presentation on the RSs. So let me stop sharing that.
You got to stop showing cars that people aren't selling.
Yeah, I've got one that people are selling. I've
Okay.
won the game.
Okay, so my RS car, let's see.
Oh, I got to stand up. I'm sorry. Y'all are coming with me.
All right, you guys see that?
Oh, I loved it. I love
one of the
V10
V10s.
RS.
I
Yep.
do see that because I think that car might be one of my one of my possibles.
This was,
No
I
longer.
fell in love with this car. I saw it at the Munich Airport Forum first, and then I saw it a year or so later at the Nuremberg Audi dealership, both in blue, and I fell in love with it. And I thought, oh my Lord, this thing's just insane.
Look at those fenders.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so one of the reasons I like it, they boxed the fenders as they did on Quattros.
Yeah.
So
And
you
that was-
have that.
That was the first return of the box flares too. Like
Yeah.
when everybody's minds were blown when they put them on that car.
Yeah, and I think that's the last time they did it too. Well, they did it with the RS4, but
RS4.
this one
I
was,
like the way they've done the new RS5s. The boxing on those is very elegant, but still
Yeah.
shows the line very nicely.
So it's pretty sweet.
So I remember with this car when it came out, I was in it doing an interview with Roland Meyer at MTM, and they had just started talking about like the word using the word downsizing, right? Like everybody had to get more fuel efficient in Europe, and so he was kind of lamenting like whatever they had that thing tuned to, like 800 horsepower or whatever. I remember it felt like we were like making the world turn faster on its axis when we hit the throttle, but like it was. He was lamenting the fact that like we have hit a high watermark. You won't see another engine like this, right? Like this is the last of this. And while we still have that V10 as a high rev in the R8, these cars went away, and you know the likelihood of a V10 of this nature ever coming back is probably slim to none. These are such a great era of car. It's such a high watermark.
Yeah, I do like it. I'm a sucker for a V10. My wife drives the V10 TDI Touareg, so all of those things were derivatives of the TDI V10 Le Mans car. So anyway, this is such a cool car. It's got the MTM Bimoto wheels on it.
I always love those wheels.
Me too.
They were just stunning looking. They were just complex enough to make you get curious, and yet light and open.
Yeah.
The only downside of this car is the light covered interior, but honestly, I love the contrast between the black and the white.
And it looks like it's held up well.
Yeah, I mean, for 2007, it looks really nice.
You know, and I think it was 20,500 euros, which is just
I
over
mean,
$24,000
Yeah,
US.
so much car for. What year did these come out again? Is this or what year is this?
2006, I think.
All right. So even the Canadians got to wait a little bit longer for this one.
Yeah, and I found this one. I thought, God, that's cheap.
You know, for as cheap as they are, I mean, if someone were really motivated, finding you look at like at Jake Locke doing this S6 conversion to his like tired A6 Avant, like you could find an A6 Avant chassis in one of these things with some body issues in Germany and create a really nice Frankenstein is all I'm saying. Like bring the quarters over, bring the drivetrain, bring the seats.
Don't talk like that.
Am I giving you some ugly ideas? I don't know if
I mean, the car that's sitting behind me started off as an empty body shell I imported from Germany. So
did it really?
yeah. But anyway, that's
Well, there you go. I'm just the devil on your shoulder.
Yeah.
Man.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I love these
Yeah,
things.
that's my pick.
You know, it's obviously the newer RS6s and everything were just beautiful, but these were to me were monsters, and I still pine for them. And see paint glue.
I think the fastest I've ever gone in a car on track or on the Autobahn is in one of these things. They were just so good at speed and so easy to get to ridiculous speeds.
Nothing else has like that engine.
Yeah.
Not even the W12s. I don't know.
I mean, the Continental GT with like the W12 Tin Turbo is a similar sort of either one of these cars. It's such a weird scope, right? Because when you get on the throttle, it just comes so effortlessly that you're like, you know, you don't have this sort of like with the R8, it's like winding out and you have all this drama to get there. And with these, it's just like, oh, we've gone to warp speed. Great.
580 horsepower out of the box. I mean,
I think the V10, because its displacement is in fewer cylinders, seems to feel a bit more torquey than the W's do that I've driven in the Phaeton. I haven't driven a Bentley with the W in it, but the Phaeton that was with the VW Phaeton with the W in it was a little peakier, I'd say, than my experience, for instance, in the V10s that I've driven.
Well, plus this would have been way lighter than a Steel D, right? So either the Continental GT, even the coupe, or the Steel D chassis is what I'm talking about. So like for those who don't know what I meant by that, but so like the Phaeton is like the A8 sized, but it's steel, where the A8 is aluminum. This being this sort of C chassis would be considerably lighter than either one of those Steel D chassis cars. So what a neat car. Nice choice. Well, if you can stop share, we'll move on to the next one. Is that me next, Bill, or is that Ted go? Ted, you didn't go yet.
Okay. So the one that I picked was from the similar site, and I had taken inspiration from the blue RS2 that we did have at the National upstairs at AMP, along with the S2 and the coupe that Tom and John had managed to shovel up there. So this is a 75,000 euro RS2. It's original. At least the ads seem to indicate that it is. It's a 5-cylinder 2.3, first licensed in 1995. And I'll just walk through the gallery, but I love the silver. Silver seems to be such a classic color. And my first Avant was a B5 TQMS Avant, so very reminiscent of the shape and the color and things like that. And I had the Euro lights and gosh knows what else. So this is the shop. I'll just kind of scroll through these pictures real quick. There's the interior. The seats for 25 years old look pretty good. And look at the condition of the interior and the gauges and all like that. I mean, this one really stood out for me as looking very nice there. Nice set of Porsche wheels there off of, geez, I've seen them on a couple of Porsches.
Yeah, those are called Cup ones, and they were like 964 era, and then in one-piece form they were factory on this car. This is a two-piece, so I don't know if that's like a factory Speedline Porsche multi-piece, or if it's there are a lot of like replica companies too.
It looks like an RH replica wheel.
Yeah, I didn't know the difference there, but I remember seeing these on the 964s and thinking, boy, what a gorgeous wheel.
Yeah.
So another look around the shop, and then there's a couple of quick, original data plates and stuff like that. More close-ups of the interior. In here, the screen face looked a little.
It doesn't look like a factory radio.
Looks strange, but yeah, really.
That's
really,
aftermarket Becker.
Yeah.
Pretty common in these cars.
And of course, the back end there kind of stuff. But there you go.
I think the trick setup in one of these cars would be to get one of those Porsche Classic, like Apple CarPlay compatible, like head units. I think that'd be, because it says Porsche on it. Seems like it would be right at home in ours too.
We ought to have like a session where we discuss how to get Apple Play into your Mark II TTRS, because believe me, that's the
would the Porsche Classic single DIN fit in there? There you go.
I don't know.
It would.
Getting back here to the RS2, here you are with the white face gauges. It's just gorgeous, and more exterior shots that I'll just kind of quickly breeze through as we get to moving on to the next contestant, I'll call it. But
Dig it, Ted.
This is all, look at that. The blue, red, I mean, it's a little faded, but it's obviously the original. I've got one of these badges, and mine is nowhere near this condition. So there you have it, my choice, $75,000, 75,000 euros, 125,000 kilometers. Actually pretty low for its age.
Yeah, for its age, yeah.
Yeah, it's about 75,000 miles. That's pretty low miles.
It's not
That's
bad.
a pretty neat little car. Thank you very much.
So as far as RS2s go, factory colors, Polar Silver was the only Porsche color that carried over to the RS2.
I've seen one listed before. This is where we're going to get super nerdy, man. You and I can go back and forth. I've seen one listed before as oak green, which was a 964 color. But I don't know. I've seen enough greens where like maybe not. I don't know. These were built by Porsche, weren't they?
Yeah, they were built by Porsche at Porsche. So the standard colors, I'll just say that.
Okay.
Polar Silver was the only color that came over from Porsche. Of course, RS Blue, which everybody calls Nogaro.
Was it? I always thought it was the same color code as Maritime Blue, which is a Porsche color. Is it?
Yeah,
not?
exactly. No, I thought the same thing when I was a lot younger and hadn't actually seen one. But it's actually a two-stage pearl coat paint, whereas Maritime's not a metallic.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So no, it looks like Maritime, but it's definitely a pearl. It's got a purplish pearl in it. Anyway, Polar Silver, pretty cool color because it's Porsche.
I was going to say we're probably going down a rabbit hole for the Facebook viewers. That's probably nerdy, but I'll go there all night with you if you want to. All right, so I'll jump into mine. I'm going to cheat because it's probably not technically an RS car, but I think we'll agree that the spirit of it. So, but I want to plug this car because I think it's cool, and it's very historically significant. This is an Quattro, an 83 US spec car that's listed on P Car Market, which is a Porsche like bring a trailer, but for Porsche owners. They don't do many non-Porsches for obvious reasons, but they put this one on there. Shokan had this car. I don't know if Shokan is selling it, or if it's since moved to another owner. When I looked at the car, I didn't look at the car in person. I did consider trying to buy it a while back, and it's an 82. It's very low miles. We'll have to look and see where they are mileage-wise. 24,000 miles, 24.5.
Wow.
The car was an original, I think it's got an 82 build year, and it was one of the first cars imported. I think there were like 4 cars imported. You can look on P Car Market for more description on this, but 4 cars imported as original press cars to Audi USA. And this is apparently one of those cars that was registered to John Buffum because, Buffum was rallying with Audi back in the day, and some cars would make it out of the PR sport department and into his hands. He had a couple of rally cars. And apparently this car was registered to him at one time too. When I spoke to Shokan about it back when I talked to them about the car initially, they told me those wheels were how it came. I don't fully believe that because I'm sure that may be how it arrived with them. And it's only got 20. They've had the car since the 80s. So that is what it is. But like the car showed up in some magazines because it was a press car. And I've never seen floor mats. They look like factory mats, but they say coupe on them instead of like the ones in like that era car would usually say like, I think they would have the 4 rings. They might say Quattro. But if you look, he has, I think, some magazine screen caps here that, you see the car. I think I have that old Car and Driver. I don't know if I can see him any further. And it has silver wheels in those layouts.
Yeah.
So I suspect maybe Buffum, maybe somebody refinished those wheels that way. But as a collector car in the United States, if you wanted to go for an Quattro, this is such a great specimen. Red on brown is iconic. That kind of mileage is super, super low. And it's entirely, other than those redone wheels, I think it's fully factory. The radio is all factory. And the fact that it was one of the first press cars, it's just got some interesting history to it. Currently bidding, this is a reserve car, so let's just be honest on that. Current bidding probably means nothing. But current bidding is only 18.5. A car of this caliber in Europe is probably at least a 50,000 euro car. I'm not going to lie. When I spoke to Shokan, they wanted more than that. And that this is a reserve car, it may not go off the reserve. If we're only at 18.5 now, I think there are like 3 days left.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't know about that. But just a really, really neat car. And even like the stuff that like on these B2s, there was no RS back then, man. So like this is Audi Sport, right? This is hand built. So that's why I'm thinking it qualifies. And I wanted to plug this car, and it wasn't a long roof. It wasn't a TT. This was the closest I could get with those damn categories that Bill picked. Thanks, Bill. But like I have an early B2. This might even be, no, it might be black interior. Pardon me.
Could be chocolate.
Yeah.
It did say
Didn't do
chocolate.
black.
Okay, then maybe it's the dark brown. I have an 84 4000 Quattro, right? So a lot of my interior is shared with this, and I will say mine's very pristine, but it was an 160,000 mile car, whatever it was when I got it. And this boot and that shift knob were all like like patinaed. The boot was like shredded. And the steering wheel was all patinaed. This is all, again, it's a 24,000 mile car, so it's all in like pretty much as delivered condition, and you just don't find that anymore. So the price is whatever the price is going to be, but I think it's a rad car, and I hope it goes to a collector who appreciates it for what it is, because you just don't find stuff like this in the United States that often. Most of these Quattros were driven hard, put away wet, and then modified to look like their European counterparts, or sport Quattro stuff on it just for the hell of it because it was cool. And while it is all cool, the collector in me, as I get older, just sees that this thing is original. If the worst thing to move this thing away from original were those wheels, you could get those refinished, or just buy a set of used Ronals and keep these for historical sake, because like who knows, it might have been Buffum who made the change. And let's face it, Buffum, one of the best, most notable rally car drivers in the United States, won Pikes Peak several times, won so many championships. You can read I know he's got a biography on Amazon. I mean, it's cool stuff. So that's me being nerdy.
That's a pretty cool car. I will admit, even if it's not technically an RS car.
Yeah, it is technically not an RS, but
We'll forget for that. It's not a house this time, so.
Yeah.
Okay, so
it was in fairness, a $65 million house with $100,000 slot car track. It was a rad house.
right. Okay. All right.
Not gonna argue.
So my last two cars were, I could, either they could switch. So this is the RS category. The last category should be the Avant category. So either one, but with the showing that y'all had, I know I'm going to lose this round, so I'm going to save one of them for the next round, and I'm going to show this. I also picked a car that was available in the States. It's available at AZ Euros out in Arizona.
Ooh.
Beautiful Daytona Gray 2003 RS6 Avant. There we go. I love the color. I love the wheels. I mean, just this whole thing, this beefy car. It's a beefy Avant, and I like beefy Avants. This one, they actually have two RS6s at AZ Euro. This one's the better shape, and it's got the lower miles on
Stand
it.
that photo for a second. I'm just gonna
Yeah.
So worth noting, AZ Euros imports. They brought in Brian Henderson from Motorform, his RS2. He got from them. I think he got his B5 RS4 from them. They're pretty regulars at bringing some of this cool stuff into the country. So worth a plug.
Yeah, I mean it's only got 70,000 miles on it. Like I said, it was 2003. As I said, they had two of them there, but I mean, I can't remember the other car. I think it was silver. But this one is, it's my favorite, one of my favorite Avants. Just a big beefy RS6 Avant. So that's it. I'm gonna, like I said, I had two cars that could have gone to either category, but y'all brought out some really nice ones. And so, not saying that this is not a nice one, but I just can't. I'm not gonna win this round anyway. So, so there's my car.
I think it looks really clean sitting there in profile.
And it's landed in the United States. You could wire them tomorrow, and they'll ship it to you, and you're good to go.
That's why I chose that one also, because it was available in the States.
Yeah.
And it's ready to go. Legal and everything. We don't have to wait for those 25-year laws.
So should we vote?
We shall vote.
Do it.
What is our RS car?
So number one, our green RS3.
I don't know, man.
I think I'm in on. He may have just won without the rest of the vote. I love the color.
I love the RS3 Sportback model. I really wish we had it here in the state, at least an S3 or even an A3 Sportback. But this color is just fantastic.
So I don't have a blue RS2 sitting behind me, so I can't quite flex on that level. But I will say I got to spend a week in the first gen RS3 in Le Mans, just for a race. I don't know, but rolling around like Europe, that you could park that thing anywhere because it was the size of a golf, and it was so fast and sounded so good, and it was just such a great little package.
And this one is what, like 150 horsepower faster than the one you drove then?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Just the sound, the 5-cylinder sound. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm a sucker for it.
Yeah,
Oh,
me
you
too.
would love that.
Yeah, that's why I'm green plus the 5-cylinder. I'm in on this one all night long.
And
So-
but the V10, obviously, I love.
Yeah, this would have been. I probably would have voted for this one if the green one weren't in the running. But, yeah.
Well, I knew as soon as Tim showed his up, I was going to vote for it.
A solid mix of cars. One not an RS, technically. I'll give you that.
But it's like the granddaddy, though. So
Yeah.
I'm just picking up.
We'll give you that, George, because it actually has 4 rings on it. So
I feel like you're harshing on my house again. It was a $65 million house, Bill. A $65 million house.
Did I miss something?
We had a previous episode. I tried throwing down. I found a $65 million house built by a fund manager, of course, in LA that had this like Iron Man view of the city. Right? It was literally like Tony Stark's pad, and it
Right.
like the garage was amazing. He had like $100,000 slot car track in there.
it was amazing.
In the
Nice.
garage. He was like a I guess I don't know if you call him I don't know if he was quite a professional racer, but he was an aspiring racer in addition to his fund management work. And so he had a legit sim rig in there next to the slot car track. And then he had unfortunately he didn't have an Audi in the background. He had like a 993 and like a fastback 65 Mustang and whatever that didn't impress these guys any. So I thought it was kind of lame personally that they ejected me from the running, that they disqualified me. Especially since I'm one of the hosts of the show, I figured that's kind of wrong. Shouldn't I have a vote in that? But regardless, it is what it is. I lost.
Yeah.
I'm still bitter about it, to be
Nice.
honest.
Still salty about it. Damn.
Yeah. And the season's not even over yet, but maybe by next season I'll let it go. Just like Frozen. I don't know. Maybe not. So our next round then would be longers, wagons, Avants, family
Avant.
trucksters.
I'm feeling good about my choice for this category here.
Oh,
Yeah.
I
That's why-
owned
that's why I
a
switched cars.
TQMS, a 2001 TQMS had a JetX exhaust on it, had of course the sports suspension lowered a good bit, and the 6-speed, and that's the fondest memory of zipping around in a car that's kind of like a Q ship. Nobody expects it. So good choice to discuss tonight.
so who are we leading? Tim, are you leading?
Am I leading again?
I think you are.
So this is kind of redundant after the last one, but again, this could have gone in either of a couple of categories. So my RS pick, or I'm sorry, my Avant pick is this guy right here.
Should we just call this the RS6 class? I think that's the way this is going to go.
No, it's not.
Oh, good.
So I had looked around at a couple of them, and actually, honorable mention, I have to show you guys this car simply because of the license plate, which I think is fantastic.
Volkswagen
Kaiser.
But this guy over here, I was really surprised when I started looking for, because I knew I wanted one of these for this category. And I looked around at a bunch of them for sale all over Germany and Europe, and they all have like 200,000 or 300,000 kilometers on them. Like, people that buy these things apparently drive the hell out of them. I mean, they're great Autobahn cars or whatever, but like all the other ones I found were 200, 250, 300, 350,000 kilometers. So this one has 62,000 kilometers, and it's got,
That's less than 40,000 watts.
yeah, like it's nothing, especially for this car. It's
You
got,
can't go wrong with black on black.
Yeah, and it's got top tuning on it. Yeah, that's good.
Yep.
Them hips.
Yeah.
it's
I just remember
it's a
what a-
clean one.
when those box fires came back, man, everybody was just like,
Bonkers. And I don't know, and I can't remember if the dash on this one is Alcantara covered, and I can't remember if that was factory option or not.
man, I don't know.
But
It was.
Ooh,
it's all the carbon, and it's a full Alcantara dash cover. which is kind of neat.
They could have sent it off to like Need Factor or somebody like that. They use some pretty factory looking stuff.
Yeah, that was my guess. But it's just a super clean, you know, well-preserved car. And it's got, you know, that engine in it. And it's got those fenders. So that's my my Sportback, or my wagon pick.
Pretty classy. I like it.
Boy, you sure do like these op tuning cars.
Is that an ops car too?
It says op tuning up top, so.
This is like, hello, Bjorn. I'd like some stuff for my car, please. Like plugging ops all night and working hard for that set of wheels.
Can you throw me that green RS3?
We're going to get Bjorn on the show one of these nights. Next season. Next season.
Yeah, so that's my pick.
I like it, Tim. Good choice.
Thank you.
I'm going to love this category. You know, every one of these cars that are going to be in this category is going to be awesome. I have a feeling on that.
Hey, Bill, I want to make a comment. The poster behind you, I'm going to see Randy Popes next week.
Oh, are you?
At AMP. I have that poster and the other one. There's a pair of them. I'm going to get them to autograph them for me. I've had them for years.
Yeah, I've kind of like half-heartedly looked for the other one. Yeah. I love this one though. I mean, this is my favorite one.
Running to the Bulls. Great poster.
D5 RS6. Oh. Yeah.
You know, I almost bought those two cars.
Did you?
They were in Panoz's garage in Brazelton. And the executive assistant there, Lisa, called me one day and said, "You've got something that maybe you'd like to come take a look at and buy from us because we want to get them out of our garage." The difficulty was they could not be licensed at all. So it would have been a track.
Yeah, pure race cars. The
only $18,000 for two cars and spares, including motors.
Oh, wow.
That's nuts.
I know John Martin from NGP just bought the Audi of America's the red RS6. That's a runner. Yeah, he bought that one. It's staying in the Audi Tradition collection because of it. MGP manages the collection, right, and moves them around. But he bought that one, and word is the B5 might be for sale, but I think they need engine management for it.
Yeah.
All right, back to reality.
Yeah. I had before we get back to reality, I had an opportunity, this is way back in the day, I didn't even have a first house yet, to buy a landed in the U.S. It was sitting in a garage in Detroit. One of the 96 season. It was the number 2 B5 touring car chassis with like the Audi Sport developed 2-liter 16-valve turbo, right? Mm-hmm. That it was the Brad Jones 96 championship car. The number 2 FIA car. So like the number 1 had been like the chassis 01 of that series car had been destroyed for FIA crash testing for the cage. Number 2 ends up with, I think it did whatever they did in 95 for the World Touring, and then it ends up with Brad Jones in Australia for Audi Sport Australia in 96 when they won like all over the world.
Yep.
And then it ends up at Audi Sport, and they sold it to one of Audi Sport, like Champion Racing that era. One of the employees at Audi Sport in the US, he imported it. He was going to make it a track weapon, and he's like, he realized what he had. And he's like, I can't do it. I'm trying to sell it. I want $50,000 for it. And I was talking to my wife, like, please let me do this, right? And she's like, we don't even have a house yet. Well, don't be an idiot. Right? Like, my God, if I could have had that car now. Speaking of the one that got away. Man. And I couldn't have had $50,000 to rub together. It would have taken me, I'd have had to take a mortgage to get that, you know? But still.
I already had 2 Audis, and I didn't need a third one in spares.
Yeah. That sounds like a hell of a deal, though, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Back to reality now.
Who's now?
I think, Tom, you want to go next?
Yeah, sure. I'll go. Let's see.
Yeah, I just want that one behind you. That's all. I know I've mentioned that probably like 40 times already, but.
So that, while you're pulling that up, that one started out as a chassis and then you build it?
It did. It was a bare chassis, just doors, glass. That's it. No electrical, no brake lines, no fuel lines.
Oh my God.
Engine, no harnesses at all.
I was going to say, I think I saw it at AMP before 95 or before they were importable. So you probably did something cool to get that thing here.
Yeah, it's been here 12 years.
Has it?
But it's still things to do to it, but it's near finishing.
I mean, when we came up, because only a small number of people had seen it there at AMP for the National, we talked about it. when I came up on the floor, I mean, I just stopped in my tracks to
Right.
see the pearl, the blue, the black. I'm like, oh my goodness, this is like, and all the nationals I've attended have done something really spectacular, but that might be the spectacular moment of
Best. Yeah.
the history of Quattro showing up in one place.
Yeah. And I'll be honest, I like to think I'm pretty tied into things when I was doing Fortitude all those years. And like, I had no idea that car was in the country. There was the pearl white one in Pittsburgh with blue seats. That one's, I don't know if it's still
I saw that car at Sweckley, which is where I bought my S6 X4s from.
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah, they had that car there. They were servicing it, and that's the first time I ever saw an RS2 was the pearl one in Pittsburgh.
Not the best color combo, but rare. Like pearl white had to be exclusive for the day, and with blue seats, definitely different.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting. But yeah, the cool thing about taking this car to AMP was the fact I only lived 12 miles down the road.
Yeah.
Turn left out of my driveway, turn left into the one road into AMP. So yeah, it was an easy deal for me.
Are you up there in Big Canoe?
No, I'm in Tate.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Drive through there all the time. Beautiful, beautiful place. I didn't know that.
All righty.
So what do we have?
Here's my choice.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Oh, I like this one.
I am a big fan of the S6 Plus.
Yeah, so I imported one of these a couple of years ago for a guy in Baltimore. Serviced it and sent it back up there to him. Beautiful car. I drove one of these from, what year was it? It was 2000. What year was that? 2002. I drove one of these from Paris to Le Mans for the race. Actually, I take that back. It wasn't the race. It was Le Mans Classic, the first Le Mans Classic they did.
Oh, nice.
French Audi Club, vice president's car. The president of the French Audi Club had his S6 Plus Avant, same color. We 160 miles an hour down French auto routes from Paris. It was pretty wild. We were also, there were 3 Avants. There was the 2 of these. There was another one, which was one of 2 S4 RS cars that MTM built with the flared fenders, all carbon fiber, 400.
Oh, yeah. That car.
It was this guy from Norway that had it. So we were flying to the Le Mans Classic. Anyway, always a favorite of mine. First time V8 with the 6-speed. Nagaro, of course, I'm a sucker for Nagaro. The only thing that this car doesn't have that I would like to have is the Alcantara inserts.
Oh, doesn't it have the blue?
No, it's got, if I remember, it's...
They not have an interior shot.
Yeah, they've got some. It's just plain black
Oh,
leather.
interesting. Yeah.
But a sucker again, blue gauges.
Yeah.
I mean, who does that?
Ooh, man, that's awesome.
That was either blue or red, right? Like those cars, that's how you know them, like the S6 Pluses.
You could get blue, red, or gray, depending on just what you ordered. And of course, these were the first cars that were built by Quattro GmbH.
Right.
So they're not even listed as built by Porsche. Not by Porsche, by Audi. They were built by Quattro. They're stamped appropriately. So anyway.
Great car. I think I saw the one you imported. He used to bring it to Carlisle, their import auto show in the spring, every year. If it's the same guy I'm thinking of.
What color was that one, George?
I don't recall. Was it
it
silver
black?
maybe? Or black?
Yeah, this one had, the one that I imported had the blue Alcantara.
Yeah.
What's funny is the guy that I brought it in for actually had a silver one with black leather interior. Sold it to buy this one.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, these cars are. I mean, George had an S6, not a Plus.
The 5-cylinder.
Yep, and I love that car.
Karen Chadwick's for those who've been around the club, Karen Chadwick's husband had the car for many years, and he right about the time she was retiring, they put it up for sale, and I bought it, and that car belongs to one of the guys at Audi of America now, Ian Avila.
well, I've got a 95 and a half black on black S6 Avant 2 5-cylinder.
Exact spec this one was, yeah. Are your door okay, well, I'm getting on a nerd hole again, but like the door panels in this car were like some weird fabric. Like they weren't, everything else was black leather, but the door panels looked like they were like, it was just like kind of an off black fabric.
Yeah, in '95 they took the vinyl off the doors and they used some sort of cheesy fabric in
Yeah.
all the '95 and up cars. Same
Okay.
way in mine. It's black leather, but you've got fabric on the doors, which doesn't
And
make sense to
I
me.
think the third row seat in the trunk was the same fabric. It was a weird setup.
It was.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Nerd hat off. I mean, as much as one can on this show, right? It's a pretty nerdy show, so I don't feel too guilty doing it.
Did you get a shot of this?
I think I got it. Thank you.
Man, I love that one too.
Yeah, Nagi on that is kind of. What was the color? Bill, Tim, you showed one the last time you were on that was at an auction house. So I think it was it silver though? I think.
No, it was Nagaro.
The Nagi.
It had the blue seats and the whole 9 yards.
I told you I was going to love this category.
And the snowflake wheels, yeah. Very cool. Well, I've got a pick if we've got time to go through one last or another Avant-ish thing.
Yeah, this is Avant class, man, and we got all night. So, well, we don't have all night, but this is the last class. So, after this, it's a wrap.
So this is my pick.
Interesting pick.
This is 6,000 euros, 5,900 euros, and I'll tell the story of my affection for the all-road 4.2. Many of you know Steve and Mike Bauer from up in northern Kentucky, and they've been just great supporters of Audi Sport. Come to all the races. We've done so many crazy things together in road trips, Quattros de Mayo. Anyway, Steve owned one of those very handsome gray bodied cars, and I don't know what the color was called, but it was a manual 4.2 liter, and we would run with the suspension all the way down up there in the hills, sort of thing. And I've always had a hankering for one, and when I thought, I wonder if I could find a 4.2, and here it is. This one's across the pond, obviously, and like the picture that George showed, it's just blue, but what stands out is the blades along the doors in the silver that goes with the silver roof rack. I just love the counterpoint of the darkness and the light in this particular one.
Yeah, I like these when they're all color coded. I mean, the fender flares are color coded to the car. Yeah.
Yep. So although on the gray, the black fender looked really well. So he had one of these, and I just went looking for it when I thought about Avants, and this is an Avant with a twist, I guess I'd call it. So more pictures. Is that a picture you want, George, or do you want me to keep going through?
Do you want me to? No, I got the front 3/4, but if you want me to do the screen cap on the side, I can. If you think that's a better angle, I can do the screen cap on the side.
Shoot that one. I think it's pretty cool.
Shows your blade.
Say when. So of course these are the big 4.2 naturally aspirated motor. They can carry a ton of bricks and God knows what else. I've seen Steve load. He was a carpenter whose trade expanded into other things of assembling for a couple of years. He built the stands, the seats at various racetracks for Andy and the team that were doing the VIP events at some of the tracks here in the country. So you can see the rather unusual European style tow hook on this one. I thought that was kind of cute. And Estonia, notice that? Right there. I thought that was kind of interesting here. So he's got the automatic. So Bill, sorry, he doesn't have but 2 pedals instead of 3.
That's fine.
Yep.
It's an Avant.
Yeah.
Yeah, with like the funky shift buttons on the steering wheel, like
Yeah.
It's like a pre-paddle car.
Here's the insets, the pretty grayish insets in the seats. I always like that. And then of course, it's not pretty, but it's a 4.2 by God. And I think what was their rating in the U.S. 421 horsepower? Was that correct?
Might have been.
Yeah. So they were
420 in the RS4. I think in the high rev was 420. I don't know about the. How about that?
It looks like his air suspension system works.
Yep. Yeah, his AS works just fine, as you can see right here on that picture right there. He's way up in the air on that.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, with those things down, if you were whizzing around an American piece of heavy iron and decided you want to pounce one of these things, you might get your butt handed to you on a silver platter.
The U.S.
That's my entry into the world of Avance is the 4.2 on-road.
The U.S. 4.2s were actually detuned a little. I think they only were like 300.
Okay.
Okay.
Like A8's like 310, something like that.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll stop sharing, and that was my entry into the world of Avant.
Before I jump in, Bill, because we're like no holds barred tonight, and I can look on European sites, and it's the end of the season. I'm going to show a couple, but I don't want to show one of yours. So I'm going to ask. I'm going to ask you. Oh, you want to go first? Yeah, why don't you do that?
No,
Okay.
well, no. Go ahead and ask me your question.
Is yours any shade of green?
Go ahead.
Is
Go
it matte? Is it matte?
No.
Okay, then we don't have to worry about me showing any of yours. I'm going to show you 3 because I think they're rad. I'm going to show you 3 because I think they're rad, but the last one is my choice. Okay? Is my entry. You ready for this?
Are you ready for it? Yes. Let's go.
Kind of minty. Audi exclusive. I don't know if it's Porsche mint green, but my God, it's just listed as green.
Wow.
But I've never seen one in this color. And if it is Porsche mint green, my hat's off to this gentleman for being a man of taste, or gentlewoman, who knows. But I think it's pretty badass. Not my entry, so you don't need to vote for it.
Good, because I wouldn't.
Just listed as green. Next up, we're gonna go matte gray with 22-inch SQ7 wheels.
Those look familiar.
That looks badass. Probably rides like hell, but looks badass.
Yeah.
I mean, you gotta love matte. You gotta love. I mean, again, those are wagon wheels on that
That's
thing.
sharp. Love the seats.
One of the things I really love about the Audi design language is the short overhang that results in almost a bull nose that somehow looks extraordinarily elegant. The Mark II TRS is a great example of that. Look at that. I mean, that's just like I'm in your face going to come up on you in the highway at high numbers.
So it looks incredible, but now save your comments because now these are all the same RS6 like Gen, right? But now I'm going for this is the one I'm entering. Are we ready?
Oh.
Dark green.
Oh, wow. There it is.
I believe it's Goodwood. And wait for the seats.
Oh, those are beautiful. That's
when we talk about a person of taste having built this car is spectacular. The steering wheel's a little much, but
is that Coco?
Wood trim. I mean, okay, I'd have probably done carbon. I'm not going to beat him up over that.
Definitely would have done carbon over the wood.
I mean, he was probably British, is my guess. Probably worked for Bentley. Maybe it was a factory. Well, steering wheel's on the wrong side, but we're just making up a story about this guy now. But I have to say, really, really tasteful car.
I love it.
So I'm just let's find a good angle. I'll take a picture. Should Photoshop it with the wheels from the last one, but whatever. So that's my entry. Oh, do you want to see price? Does anybody care? 69,000 euros. It's a bargain. You can drive it home today.
Green, it says there.
If you live in Europe.
Or ship it home because you got the money.
Yeah,
if you know holds barred, man, you don't care. Just get it. All right, Bill.
Okay. So I chose this car. We are doing a series on our blog, AudiClubNA.org, with our Audi Club Florida member, Nish. And Nish was supposed to be on today, but unfortunately he had like a work emergency pop up, so he was unable to make it. So I'm going to show this in honor of him. The blog series is called "Don't It Make My Brown Eyes Nagaro Blue," because he has an RS6 Avant Nagaro Blue edition on order.
That is really nice.
Yeah, right? Now, this it's like this is to me is the ultimate car. I can take all my kids, my dog, both my cats, if I wanted to, very, very quickly to the grocery store. But yeah, this is when this thing popped up, and I'm just drooling on it because, well, first of all, can't afford one yet, and second of all, I think they're only shipping 25 of these over to the States.
Technically, it's the last gen. It's an RS6 Plus from the old gen, but
oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway,
I'm not gonna beat it up, man. It's probably my favorite of the
It's
cars that have been
beautiful.
shown.
Interior.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's
Oh, look at the steering wheel.
Yeah,
That's
look at that.
really nice.
We gallon in the beauty that is the
That's
interior of this vehicle.
You have to wear gloves to drive the thing.
Oh, and then my dog and my cats are not allowed in the.
Okay, there you go. Cat hair sticks to
Oh,
Alpine
it's
Terra. by
what
the
is
way.
Integral edition?
One of 150.
One of 150.
Yep.
Is
Hey,
that
Phil.
etched into the?
They do have a way now to do etching on carbon. Like we had
Wow.
looked into it to see if we could do a special edition for Audi Club and just do like the Rings Club on like the.
Yeah.
They do have a method for doing that now, so it's probably not, junky vinyl. It's probably like legit etching. I think they
Get a
patented
photo of
it
this thing,
too.
George?
I did get the upper view. That's a spectacular view on that
Hey,
car.
Bill, throw that engine bay shot back up real quick.
Was it tuned by Opt? Did I see that?
I think it was.
This.
Are you mentioning Opt again, Tim? Are you another plug for Opt, Tim? That's
Are you in Kempton, Tim? Do you live in Kempton?
No.
You should go sometime. They have a great museum.
It's a beautiful place. Yeah, been there a couple of times.
You ever go to the old shop?
That looks wicked.
It's worth a visit.
Yeah, it's nice. Got some great cars on display.
They had, I don't know if they sold it. When I went in there, they had this Quattro that had like a Sport Quattro dash, all Sport Quattro
Gray one?
bodywork. I think
gray
it was
one.
black or dark gray, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a volcano black.
And I asked him, like, Sport Quattro dash, they don't just make, like nowadays people are making replicas, but I go, what's the deal, man? Like, that's like legit. And he's like, yeah, well, back in the day, they just bought the stuff new, right? Like this was built back in the day.
A beautiful car. It's like a long wheelbase Sport Quattro.
Yeah.
I've seen it. I got good pictures of that thing too.
Rag car.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So Opt tuning, did we establish that while we went down another nerd?
I didn't see anything on the engine.
Yeah, there's a badge right at the front of the engine.
Oh, was there? Jesus Christ. Yeah.
Bill, come on, you're killing our Google or our YouTube
It's
rating
right there, man.
with your
Oh, you know why? Because you guys
Hot
were
power.
covering up the. I had you guys on the bottom of the screen, so there you go.
This is one of the best motors that Audi's made beyond the 5-cylinder. The feel of this motor, when I worked with Audi Sport as one of their instructors, driving this motor was a real gas, no pun intended. Just pull forever, delivered low-end torque coming around turn 6 at AMP like a kick in the butt with a 20-pound sledgehammer, and do it all day long. So I'd really be interested to drive one of the Apt modified engines and see what that felt like.
Yeah, no doubt, right?
Bill, can you go back to the upper rear view for whatever reason? I'm gonna try and get a screen cap that will open in the same window.
So, guys, I hate to do this, but I actually have a work engagement that starts at 9 that I have to get to. So I'm gonna have
quick?
to.
Or you got to jump now.
I'm gonna just throw my vote for this car because
Okay.
Thanks, Tim.
fantastic. So,
Nice guy.
thanks very much for inviting me back on the show. I had a good time.
Thanks for being here, Tim.
Thanks, Tim. Good seeing you
See
again.
you, Tim.
Yeah.
Great to see you.
Be well, man.
So, see you around.
Bye. Thanks, Tim. Like he voted for me.
All right, I'm gonna have to share twice because I'm having sometimes with Apple, it's weird. It won't open them all in the same window. So I got the first 3 in one window and the last 2 in the next. Okay.
Okie dokie.
So let's share the first window. So first up, we have the V10 bi-turbo of Tim's. Does anybody vote for that? Next up, we have the S6 Plus. Anybody vote for that? Are we all going to vote for the same thing? Next up, we have the
I
all-road.
really want to vote for that one, though.
Anybody? I mean, I got a soft spot for Nagy. Here's a hint. I'm throwing my vote for a Nagy car, just so you know. Ted, you're voting for your all-road?
Yep.
All right. I'll stop my share and go for the next. Next up, we have the, let's just say Goodwood Green RS6
Good one.
on.
Oh, man. It's tough, too.
Yeah. All right. So we got 1 vote for the all-road, 1 vote for this. And then next we have the Nagy edition.
3 votes for this one.
Yeah, I think this one
Yeah.
wins. All right.
I
So
love the spoiler on the back of the deck there. That's a stunning piece of art.
Right?
shall we figure out who the overall winner of the evening is?
Yes.
All right, give me a second.
It's going to be the villain.
The villain?
Yeah.
All right. I can't open them all in one window again.
Come on, George.
I know that blue one's just being difficult for me.
Because it doesn't want to share the stage with anybody else.
It doesn't, except for my green car. It was willing to share with green car.
That's word.
Actually, it opened all in the same window this time. So let's try this again. All right, sharing for the final. There we go. So winner of the first round is the green RS3 Opt edition. Anybody voting for that? We'll just skip over. We'll go from round to round. Oh yeah, does anybody vote for the villain? Thanos, the villain. Next up is Per's car. That's awesome, but not for sale.
Hey,
And then,
all it takes is money. I'll vote for that.
right.
I like that as a little tossable thing.
I do too. I'll be honest.
I
And
found
then,
one of those for sale, actually. There's a yellow one for sale.
well,
Yeah.
I'll go back and show you my link. You weren't here when I shared my link, so I'll do that before we sign off. But like, all right, final vote for the RS6 Plus Nagi edition. I think you win the night, Bill.
Woo! Finally, the last show.
You've not
David,
won
you're so
one yet.
proud.
You've not won one yet.
I've not won one yet. I've only won like one category.
All right,
Not
let me
tonight.
find my. So here was because Ted showed a car that was not for sale, and I had this. I was going to steal his idea, but then I felt like being a good guy, not stealing his idea. Let's see if that uses the right window. So
Yeah.
this is again Rizzo car. I went to them a lot tonight for listings, ranging the from like 30,000 euros, 33 for that one up top, but this yellow one for 13,000 euros. Oh, whoops! We're gonna open another window again. Like, give me a second. I'll put it back in the window.
I dig that one a lot.
Rizzo does not like it. Always wants to open a new window.
Cage, just really nice.
I don't know if those are Fiat wheels. It's got flares. Nice little oil cooler up front.
Those do look like Campanellos.
Yeah, don't they?
Yeah,
I don't know what they'd have originally been off of, but
and they're 5-bolt. I think you're right. Somebody's done a conversion.
yeah. But it's caged.
Yeah.
It's got at least one bucket seat.
And go back to I mean, I just love that.
Yeah.
That just.
Would that count as a stack? I don't know if it's. But anyway, it's.
Yeah, the wheels are ATS.
Oh, are they ATS? Got
Did you
it.
see this? Yeah, I didn't. Did you see that on the hub or something?
No, I just
Or you just know.
been around a long time.
Yeah.
I'm an old guy.
I remember that brand and those wheels, and they're not Ferrari wheels or Fiat wheels when you see them up close. Sorry about that, brothers.
ATS made 993 turbo wheels.
Yeah.
So, anyway, it's kind of a
Guys.
wrap, guys. It was a good evening, a good final show. I may so for the people watching, I'll probably stop the live feed. So thanks everybody for being with us for the first season. We did 12 episodes. I can't believe it. My wife Ken, she's sick of me being away on Friday nights. But beyond that, we'll be back in a couple weeks. When we feel like coming back, we'll let people know. We're going to try and improve the formula a little bit. And so thanks everybody who's been part of it. If you want to watch the back episodes, they're on YouTube. This one will be up on YouTube in a couple days. And thanks guys for being here. We really appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Tom, and thanks,
Thank you very
Ted.
much for letting me join the
Yeah,
crowd.
glad to be here.
Tom, great to see you again.
You, Ted.
Take care of yourself.
And we're stopped our live stream. Thank you guys very
Tom?
much.
Ready.